Remarkable prophecy. Prior to the coming of the Messiah, a catastrophic event occurs, an event in which many people are killed. And that will stimulate the coming of the final Messiah. Is that October 7th? I believe so.
Jacob, you're live on the air. Go ahead with your question, sir.
Hi, this is Jacob from Arizona. My question is about, I know the Christians hate rabbinic literature. They don't like to talk about it. But every once in a while they bring up there's supposed to be two messiahs. And I don't know a lot about this. I'm not well versed in it. I know the name Ben Joseph is mentioned, but I don't. It kind of confuses me. I was wondering if you could elaborate on that.
That's really important, Jacob, and I'm really glad you raised it because missionaries frequently raise this, although it's not in the Bible. So the same Christians that are, almost all of them are Protestant, who believe in sola scriptura and can stand the Talmud, sees the Talmud, because Mashiach, the son of Joseph, the Messiah, son of Joseph, is not anywhere in Tanakh. It is in the Talmud and Tractate Sukkah. So we have to be very careful. Just one point that's critical. When we use the term Messiah, we only mean the Messiah, the son of David, who's the heir to the promise in 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 12 through 16, a great-grandson of David and Solomon, who will restore the Davidic dynasty. And the prophecies found in the Hebrew Bible will unfold, okay? That's what we think of, okay? As it turns out, in Tanakh, the word Messiah is used 39 times, and it's never referring to the Messiah. I know it makes things difficult, but you need to know that. Therefore, when the Talmud refers to the Messiah, the son of Joseph, the Talmud is speaking about something else completely. In Zechariah 12, we are told that at the end of days, the Jewish nation will return back to the land of Israel. They'll have a state. There'll be a broken people where God will strengthen them. The weakest of them will be like David, even like the angel of the Lord of hosts. Zechariah 12, verse 8 and 9. 7 and 8. In verse 9, it will be in that that all the nations that come against Jerusalem will be destroyed. Okay? So this is very important. So the Jews have returned to Israel, and Jerusalem is now back in the hands of the Jews. This is an end-time prophecy. But the Messiah has not yet come. There's only a Jewish state and a Jewish army of people who miraculously are able to defeat their enemies. This is a remarkable prophecy. However, prior to the coming of the Messiah, a catastrophic event occurs, an event in which many people are killed. And when they are killed, it causes the Jewish people to unify and turn to God. They will look to me because of the one who is pierced through. It means the ones, because dakaru is in the plural. Many people are killed. It causes a unity among Klal Yisrael. That unity among the children of Israel triggers a mourning, like what happened when Josiah was killed in the Valley of Megiddo. It's going all the way back to 2 Chronicles. And that will stimulate the coming of the final Messiah. That means the Messiah, the son of David. So the Messiah, son of Joseph, is not one person, but it's many people who are killed. Dakaru. That means many people are killed at the end of days. Is that October 7th? I believe so. I can't guarantee it, but I believe so. Okay? So these are, even though there's a Messiah, the son of Joseph, the Messiah, the son of David, they don't mean the same thing. The only thing they have in common is they're both eschatological. Messiah, the son of Joseph, means Jews killed in a horrible way that caused the entire nation to unify in mourning. Please read Zechariah 12, verse 10, 11, 12. Just read it for yourself. Now, John 19:37 is going to misappropriate this to have it as the Roman soldiers piercing Jesus' side to see if he was dead or whether they had to break his bones, and change the pronoun. Forget all that. So the problem, sweetheart, is that people are not reading passages in context. You might say to me, Rabbi, it's hard to read Zechariah. Zechariah is not an easy book, but chapter 12 is an easy chapter. Zechariah is not a very hard book. It's not the easiest book in the world. But chapter 12 is using standard prose. Any one of you could start reading the chapter in context, and you'll see that the nations will come up against Jerusalem. Jerusalem will be a heavy, burdensome stone to all those who come against it. I will strengthen the Jews, and so on. So it's all there, and you can read it for yourself. So Mashiach ben Yosef is a concept of Jew. Now, there are a number of opinions on this. One opinion is there's one person who get killed in battle, and that causes consternation among the Jews, and they do repent. And the other view, which is the consensus, is that, and the word is in dakaru, is plural, that many people are killed in a horrible, violent attack. Again, Jerusalem is liberated here. The Jews return to the land of Israel after a long exile. Okay, Hosea 3, verse 4, many days. So long exile, the Jews return back to the land of Israel. Okay, then they liberate Jerusalem. Nations come to attack Israel over the status of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the issue. Okay, then after that, a massive attack on the children of Israel, who are strong, but that attack, many people are killed. That causes the entire nation to turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, that mourning among the children of Israel, where men, it even says in the text, and men and women will mourn apart, separately. It's really the only reference to men and women praying separately. And it's interesting that prior to October 7th, there were big fights in Israel whether they should have a separation of men and women in the public square in Tel Aviv. That was the big deal in this country. That's our only source for men and women praying separately. Holy smokes. But again, this is what I believe, that we're in the midst of this now. I mean, we're in this messianic, but don't confuse the two. Missionaries are ignorant of this. I'm not going to tell you that missionaries are just deliberately being despicable. They're not. They're not familiar with the Talmud. They read this stuff in ridiculous missionary books. They go to Rabbi Google to get this kind of material, and then they use it on you to say, the Messiah is supposed to come twice. Once he's supposed to suffer and die, and the second time he'll come gloriously. Nonsense. But unless you look up the original sources for yourself, you are going to be clueless. And I'm happy to answer these questions for you. Thank you for your thoughtful question. If you enjoyed this program, please like and subscribe.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל